dogs. Alright, so this is just somebody asked me on the channel the other day to do a bit more butchering and things like that. And there's a good field dressing vid on Bo's channel, Bo's Boars and Barrows. Get over there, one we did about a year or so ago. It's in the dark, but it's really easy to see.
It is. You do need an account, but it's rated 18 plus.
Rated 18 plus, yeah, because God forbid kids know where their food comes from. But anyway, I'll do one now before I monetise my bloody channel. So this is a boar. So first off, we start with the pizzle. And cut round there. And as I've said before, a sharp knife really is your friend here. This is a Svord general purpose handmade knife from New Zealand. They're good option, a bit pricey, but worth it I reckon. So you come all the way down his pizzle there and get to his nutsack, testicles, and you can sort of see, you can sort of slide the knife between the thigh muscle and the testicles. There's a couple of tubes that come from the nuts up into the body, so you'll have to cut them. Just be careful you don't cut into the guts, because that's not pleasant. So to both sides. This is a bit rough and ready because we want to keep on hunting. Don't cut your fingers off. So now you got his sort of his pizzle and his nutsack separated, so they all disappear up inside his pelvis here. So this is just a thick wedge of muscle, and there's a hole that goes into his pelvis that this disappears up into, and you need to cut around that hole, which will take in his bunghole as well. So sort of just keep the back of your knife up against the bone, and that'll give you the idea of your direction. Sort of thing. So all the way around, see this little bit just hanging on, that's his bunghole. Make sure that's all released. So that's all sort of free and clear now. I usually cut off the pizzle and balls just so I can pull the whole show through a bit more easily.
Stand on it so dogs don't try and eat it.
Yeah. So then we come up to his gut here. So there's 3 or 4 layers of membrane here. You just got to be bloody careful cutting into them. You don't want to pop the gut. So usually you can sort of get through the first bit of skin, and then you just use your fingers to break the other membranes until you're right down into his gut cavity. See his intestines there. There's still one little very fine layer of membrane. And sort of get that with your fingers. You can get it with your knife too if you're good, but I tend not to risk it too much. So then what I'll do is I'll try and run 2 fingers up inside in here. It's all a bit intimate, isn't it? And have the knife sitting on top of them. It just protects the guts from being popped. So like so. And once you've got a bit of room in there, sort of releases the pressure, you can just use the tip of your knife carefully. Right, so you cut up there, you'll hit the sternum, a bit of cartilage there. That's his intestines, large intestine. That's his stomach. Before we go further in here, you want to cut his throat out. So this particular pig is going to some guys from Vanuatu. It's Vanuatu and Independence Day today, apparently, when they got their independence from France as the colonial power. So yeah, obviously it's a pretty good reason to celebrate. So these guys want some pigs to put on the fire, and so for that reason I'm going to leave the heart and lungs and everything in, because those guys really love them. But I am going to take his throat out a little bit, just so I can drain him. So the stomach is attached to Oh, hang on. Let's have a look at that liver before I get too carried away. Yeah. I suppose those fellas could make a decision, but for me, I'd probably drop the liver out. The rest of him looks healthy enough, but I wouldn't eat the liver. But anyway, if you do need to take the guts out but leave the heart, lungs and liver in, down here you can see where the stomach joins the liver, down here. And if you are careful, you just cut the stomach away from the liver there, and that just takes all the guts and everything out, but leaves the heart, lungs and the rest in there. Now that liver looks a bit, I wouldn't eat it. I don't reckon those guys would eat it either. So just in the interest of preserving this pig a bit better, I'm going to drop all this out. They'll be happy for it nonetheless. So one thing I didn't point out, there is a membrane that holds the stomach cavity, or the thoracic cavity, the stomach cavity, separate from the heart, lungs, and that sort of thing. That's your diaphragm, and you sort of got to cut around that in a quarter circle each way. So that just releases all that in there. And because I've gone and cut the throat, we can pull that out. Put my knife away so I don't cut myself on it. And from here it should just be a matter of muscling it out. So hands right up inside him, get a good grip on the throat, and I tend to sort of brace my forearms against the edges of the opening you've made here, and just pull like that. And if you've cut it properly, which I obviously haven't, it should just come out. There we go. Thanks, mate. So from there, the rest of it's just pulling it and releasing it, and you'll get the feel for it once you've popped a few guts. You'll work out what not to do. And it's a strange thing, I've found that some pigs really hang on to their guts. The membranes are really tough, and other pigs, they just come out really easily. So yeah, pull the whole show out like that. And double check that you've got all the rectum and bladder and everything out. Sometimes it tears off as you're pulling it out. That's not ideal. Here's your blood in there, whether you've shot it or stuck it. I use that, I'll just fling it out the rectal cavity, and then we can prop him up somewhere to hang and drain, and he should cool down nicely, and these guys will be really happy. So we'll just prop him up on this fence, I reckon.
Yep.
Wait. Bugger off, you lot. Mia, prickle. Dirty shits.
How far? It's
So,
always a difficulty of trying to stop the dogs from eating it.
Always. They think it's their right, which, you know, it would be if there wasn't the risk of disease. Wait.
Yeah. Oi.
Not to mention the fact that if they get a full guts, they'll be lazy. That can kill them. Too much exercise on a full stomach. They get bloat, I think, is it? I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. Just going to try and get just a hook over there. Beauty. Hit.
Then probably go through the fence a little way up there or there. Otherwise it'll probably bump off.
Yeah, true. So it's not up there very tight. And yeah, just when you're hanging it up to kind of drain and cool, you got to make sure that it's draining freely. You can see the bloody blood pooling in there. That's no good. So got to adjust his head, which will make him drop off the fence, guaranteed. That's coming out there. All right, sweet.
Hey, drop it.
Hurry up.
Hungry, gutted body things.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. That should be draining nicely now. Good dogs. They're handy things to have around, dogs. Good for cleaning your hands and stuff. Okay, leave it.